A decade on from the Christchurch quakes, more than 400 cases of botched repairs needing a fix are still flooding into EQC each month. The government yesterday accepted 70 recommendations made in a highly critical report into the Earthquake Commission. The inquiry found EQC was ill-prepared to deal with the widespread damage of the quakes and to handle a mass-scale managed repair program, leading to multiple mistakes and inadequate quality control. And the Minister for Greater Christchurch Regeneration, Megan Woods, told Checkpoint yesterday, as soon as EQC clears cases, more come in. EQC CEO Sid Miller told me all 1,559 cases still open and on their books are re-repairs.
The situation we're in, Lisa, is the amount of reopened claims that we get on a monthly basis. We're currently tracking around about 450 a month. So of those, they range in claims that are sort of, I'll class as, say, low complexity, medium or high. If they're high complexity claims, they can take sort of 10 to 12 months to resolve. The medium, sort of 4 to 5 months, and then the low complexity, about a month. So what that means is you end up with, on the basis of what's coming in all the time, you end up with a sort of an equilibrium number of claims on the books, which we think somewhere between a sort of 1,000 and 1,200.
Sorry, Sid, you can't get below that number. Basically, you're stuck. You're running to stand still.
Yes, that's correct. Well, that's correct, except for we've got about 300 that are greater than 12 months, of which about 105 of those are in litigation, and the others. So we're focusing, a huge amount of effort into those claims and working, very closely with GCCRS on a lot of those claims. So I believe we can get those down, but the others, the sort of 1,000 to 1,200 is an equilibrium position at the minute.
So you mentioned 450 a month coming back to you. How long have you been experiencing that kind of bounce back for re-repairs?
The number has dropped. It was sort of a couple of years ago was sort of 750, something around that, and then dropped to around about 600, and it's now about 450. So it has dropped, but it's only dropping slowly.
What percentage of the cases fall into that complex category that you described?
I'd have to get you the exact figures, but I think, I believe it'll be somewhere around about 10%, maybe less than that.
And what kind of repairs are we talking about here that are needed?
They would be significant repairs related to invariably missed damage, which tend to be structural or could be foundation damage.
And across the board, would foundations be one of the main issues with re-repairs?
No, it's one of the issues. The majority of our claims are in the lower complex area, and so a lot of that is more superficial damage. And we have, in the medium complex can again be some structural damage. So foundation is just one of many different types of damage that we're dealing with.
So how long is it going to take you to resolve all of these?
Look, Lisa, we all we can do is keep addressing the reopened claims that come in. And that's what we're focused on doing. I can't give you a projection when the last claim will come in, and therefore extrapolating that when we would have them all resolved. I just can't give you that figure. All I can say is that we keep going to address all the reopened claims.
110 cases still going through the court. Why so many?
Well, we've made a lot of inroads into that space. I think when we talked a couple of years ago, we had a very much a focus on the claims and litigation, and we've reduced them from 400 to 105. So that's a significant reduction. And we keep working on those in terms of trying to find different settlement paths. Obviously, it takes two parties to agree to discontinue, but we're doing everything that we can, both with our settlement specialists and also with GCCRS and the tribunal to try and get those resolved.
So how much have you spent on litigation and legal fees?
Yeah, I think the total figure over about 10 years is around about 50 million. just over 50 million.
So why not save everybody some money and heartache and just pay up on some of these claims that are dragging on? Because what is the cost benefit to, dragging it out through court?
Absolutely, and that's where we've had such a strong focus on this, and I'm pleased to say that we've reduced that number by 300 over the last couple of years, and we remain very focused on these remaining ones, and trying to seek a settlement pathway. Obviously working with the customer themselves and whoever their legal representatives are as to how we can find a solution. So we're doing everything.
But can't you find a solution, Sid? And I don't mean to oversimplify this, but can't you find a solution by saying, okay, we agree, we're not being as generous as we should. We agree that your engineers or experts are correct, and we will pay. That's the solution, isn't it?
It is, as long as that's the other side are agreeable to that. So we are seeking, when we try and find these settlements, all ways to get breakthroughs. But sometimes, people's expectations are far greater than that. And we only have so much room to move within the Act. So, we've got to keep working with GCCRS. They provide an invaluable service in this space to try and seek that solution. And I agree with you, Lisa. There's got to be a pathway somewhere, and that's what we keep pursuing to try and find it.
Does the EQC want to be the lead agency for any future managed repair program? Project managers, in essence. Do you want that job? Should it come up again?
I think that is something that the government is looking at from a repair program. We certainly, I think it was well documented in the inquiry report. We didn't have that capability. And we don't have that capability, today in terms of, having gone through that repair program.
So you shouldn't be the leads then if you don't have that capability right now.
No, and it's something that for the government, and I know they're looking at across multiple agencies as to how that can be addressed in the future.
But to be clear, Sid, you don't want that job in the future. You wouldn't want it.
We don't have that capability today, so no, I don't. And what decision the government makes coming out of this, I don't know. We will support that as we can in terms of the knowledge and experience we've gained. But I think there was very clear messaging in the inquiry that this is a major issue that needs to be addressed.
So you'd rule yourselves out if you could.
Lisa, that's a decision for the government to
understand that, but I'm asking you your position here. You would like to rule yourselves out of that job.
Oh, look, if the government says that it's got to be EQC, then I think there is a major piece of work that EQC would have to do to build the capability to be in a position where it was capable of undertaking that work, and that is a completely different set of skills and capabilities and systems that we have today, or the organisation had 10 years ago. It's not a... the government will make that decision, but the work that needs to be done to build that capability is significant, and we don't have that capability today.
That is EQC CEO Sid MIller.